Hi, the topic today is how to be highly effective, and I'm focusing on God's love. God's love is unconditional. See, the love of God is unconditional. This is very, very important. If you understand this concept, then you begin to understand why God has made us God. Because God himself gave all himself to us. And it was not because of our merit. We didn't merit it. It was because of God, who is love, decided to create himself. That act of creating himself manifested in us. So when God sees us, he sees himself. So that's why we're saying the love of God is unconditional. Nothing can separate us from love of God. It's not your sin that can separate you from love of God. No principality, nothing on earth, even sin and unseen, can separate you from love of God. So it is unconditional. It is not based on anything. It's not based on your hard work. It's not based on how beautiful you are. It's not based on your wealth. This is the love God had before the creation of the universe. We existed in God. And we existed in God long time, in ancient time, long time, trillions of years before he created us. So it is not a new thing. But we don't seem to understand this. That's why I'm saying that you need to understand this. Because once you've understood this, then you start to live. Because God's love is unconditional. God created himself in form of us. And what is God? God is love. And this love has, it has to be fulfilled. It has no condition attached to it. It's not like a gift you give somebody and you attach it to it. God loved us from his heart. And that's why he says, let them have dominion. There is no other thing God asks to have dominion except us, because he created himself. And that's why St. Paul says, nothing can separate us from love of God. So this is the extent of power God has delegated. God has given to you and I today. But the question is, do we use it? No. Do we understand it? No. Do we want to understand it? Probably you have to answer for yourself. So that's why I'm saying here today that whatever you conceive, you have achieved it. But the problem is that we have self-doubt. We do have fears. We allow fears to conquer us. We allow challenges to conquer us. We allow what we see to conquer us. But you've forgotten that God lives inside of you. You've forgotten that you have God right inside of you. You've forgotten that God has made you God. You've forgotten that God said, do not fear. So why are we afraid? Where we are hidden inside Christ. And Christ is hidden inside God. So who can destroy that? Nobody. So this is the concept you need to have in your fingertips every day. And once you have this information, then worries and fears, they disappear. Anxiety, they disappear. Because we are not expected to fear. Because we are children of God. God has said it, I didn't give you the spirit of fear. I don't know where the spirit of fear came from. So, why are we afraid? Why don't we understand where we came from? Why don't we understand our heritage? Our heritage is from God. We came from God. And that is why we have a big the responsibility to live up to the expectation, because we are children of God. God is not messing up. God is serious. God is committed. God is faithful. So we have to be committed. We have to reflect and understand who we are. Because if we don't understand who we are, we think we are animals. We think we are lion. We think we are a leopard. We think we are anything. But you are a child of God. Fully gifted. Separate from any other thing. Unique and wholesome. You are whole, complete. That is who you are. That is the knowledge the world do not want to tell you. Because if you have this knowledge, then you will never be subject to any form of manipulation. You won't be, cowed. You won't be frightened by anything. Because there is no power that can exist beyond what God has given to you. And no one, what did we say? We said no one can live beyond the limits of their belief. No one can live beyond the limits of their belief. So if you don't believe this, you have a small mind. If you don't believe that God has made you God, you have a small mind. Maybe the slave mentality, has succeeded. The world has succeeded in brainwashing you and teaching you that God hasn't made you God. If you don't believe this, you have a small mind. Because that is the fear that is holding you. And that fear is a satanic fear. It's something satanic that is holding on to you to understand that you are a child of God, even though it's written everywhere. All this thing I'm telling you is written everywhere. Still, your mind is telling you that this is not who you are. This is a slave mentality. So for the main fact that you don't understand that God has made you God is a big problem. And that is why you dwell in jealousy, anger, bitterness. You have the mindsets that, destroys you. You don't have the confidence. How can a child of God not have confidence? How can you possess all the whole power in the universe and yet you are crying for water, you are crying for food, you are crying for money? Don't you know you possess everything? So why are you afraid of yourself? Why are you afraid of nothing? Why are you afraid of shadows? Why are you scared, for goodness sake? Why do you allow anxiety? Do you remember God says, do not fear? That is a commandment of God. If you don't know. Don't fear. Do not fear. And then you have been afraid. That means you are disobeying God. Why do you disobey God? Because you've not properly understood that you are a child of God. Because if you had understood that you're a child of God, then you will not disobey God. Because nothing has separated you from God. You are just God in two legs, walking on earth, and yet you don't have memory of it, you don't have understanding of it, and you don't believe it, and you are dwelling in shadow and in shallow and in penury and in pain all the days of your life, because somehow you have blocked your mind from accepting who you are. It's just like somebody whose father has built a beautiful house, it accommodated, furnished everything. He says, no, I'm not worthy of it. And he leaves the place and starts living in a gutter and in a nonsense place. This is exactly who we are. Because your mind is telling you, no, it's not possible for God to have made me God. You think God is a joke when he says, let them have dominion. You think God is talking rubbish when he says, these are my children. For goodness sake, you do have children. What is the difference between you and your children? The same power you have, is it not the same power your children have? For goodness sake, if you pluck a seed of mango, if you pluck a mango fruit and then get the seed out and plant that seed, does it not replicate the mango tree, original mango tree? So what is the difference between you and this? So why can't we understand this? So why can't you understand the meaning of these things? And then, because we don't understand these things, we have series of murder, series of evil things we're committing every day. Because we don't know that we're children of God. We allow, material things to guide us. We allow things, that are perishable to control and guide us till we die. And we keep on fighting for nothing. The satanic forces, have, emasculated you, tied you that you don't seem to understand, and you become trapped in your thinking. So why are we trapped in our thinking? So why can't we open up and understand what we're supposed to understand? I keep on saying this day in, day out, that God has made you God. All the things God created talks about these things. Everything is written in everything God has created. That you are a child of God, that you are my children, that I love you, that it is unconditional. And yet, the satanic spirit inside of you is creating doubt and saying, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're always having doubt. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. What is not true? Do you think God lies? The condition, the concept of love empowers, enforces God to give you himself fully. Because if you don't understand these things, there is nothing you can do that can, can help you to understand things that are great things. If you don't understand this simple concept, you will not be able to do anything good. Because you always feel you don't have enough. You always feel that you are deficient. You always feel that you are poor. You always feel that somebody is greater than you. You always feel that you don't have enough when you have everything you have want in the universe. Every time you'll be beating yourself, talking to yourself in a poorly manner, in a lowly manner, not realizing that God has made you God. The reason why we acquire wealth the way we acquire it is that because we don't know that we're children of God. The reason we kill, we engage in war, we produce nuclear weapons is because we don't know these things. The reason we are envious is because we don't know this. The reason we give up our vision is because we don't know that we are a child of God, we are children of God. There is no way you can conquer a man. There's no way you can conquer a human being. Because the forces that controls a human being is not on earth. Do you know how many times what people have done to eliminate the whole people in the universe? Have they succeeded? No. Do you know how many times people have attempted their life? Did they succeed? No. So why are we afraid? Why can't we be bold and courageous like our Father who is in heaven? Remember, you came down from heaven to, do something for God here. But with fear, you won't be able to do it. Because the first thing is that you don't even believe that God exists. And then you don't even believe that you're a child of God. You don't even believe that, God has made you God. You don't even believe that the whole power in the universe is inside of you. You don't believe this. Because if we had believed this, the way we trash the world, it wouldn't be like this way. The way we chisel our hatred, it wouldn't be like this way. The way we develop small mind. Why do we have small mind? For goodness sake, why would somebody be teaching you? A child of God, somebody gonna teach you about God. That means there's something wrong somewhere. So you have a golden opportunity now to realize this, to understand the power you have, to understand who you are. Because once you have understood these things, your mind cannot go back to sleep. I'm here to jack you, to wake you up from slumber. Because a mind that has already woken up, that has already stretched, does not go back. Once you understand this thing I'm saying, you won't go back again. But if you go back, know that you've not understood it. You don't need anybody to validate you. You don't need any degree to validate you. You don't need any person to validate you. You don't need any person to love you because you already love yourself. God is love. And he created the love, which is you. And because you don't know, you don't practice the act of love. What you know is an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Then you'll be living on the side of the devil. Dining with the devil every day. How do you know? Arrogance, pride, bravado, ignorance, stupidity, darkness, hatred, discrimination, tribalism, all forms of stupidity. Idolatry, worshiping of religion, asking somebody to come and teach you about God. When God has said, my word is written in your heart. When God has said, God has written the word in everything, from the fly to the trees, to the mountain, to the stars, to the moon. The handwriting of God is there. The word of God is there. Yet, we cannot see it. That is why we are spiritually blind. Even though Christ has come, taught you the way to heaven, you are still showing doubt and anxiety and the small-mindedness. He has sent his son, who in your own replica, and see you are doubting it. This is the power you have. It's written in the stars. It's written in the trees. It's written in the ocean. It's written on the mountain. It's written everywhere. It's written in your heart. Just take 1 minute to think. Never. Oh, I don't have money. Oh, my brother died. Oh, this. Come on. Who told you that these things are supposed to rule over you? Why are you afraid? Even Fela said, my people are afraid of their shadows. That's why they cannot speak about their freedom. That's why they cannot live in the light God has given to them. They're afraid of their shadow, afraid of nothing. Mirage. Overshadowing you like a mountain. And then you are believing it, and then you are living in penury and suffering and in stupidity. Because if you don't understand these things, because no one can live beyond the limits of their belief. Whatever you don't believe, you cannot achieve it. If you have doubt in your mind, no way you can achieve it. This thing I'm talking now, if you have doubt about it, you cannot achieve it. That is why the world is the way, because we are doubting that we are children of God. We don't know. Even though God created a seed and give you the example of it, write it in the book, give it everywhere, everywhere, yet you cannot fathom it, yet you cannot believe it, because the spirit of the devil has dominated you. Somebody is telling you that, look, the love of God is unconditional, and still you believe it's conditional. God's love is unconditional. You know what unconditionality means? You know what conditionality means and unconditionality? And yet you allow another human being to come and tell you that you are a child of God. What a shame. Can you wake up from your slumber? Can you wake up from your bed and start living like a child of God that you are? Everything God created has a meaning. Look for that meaning. Because if somebody spoon-feeds you, you will not learn, and you will not act it out, and you will not believe it, and then you still go back to your sleeping bed. So God has made us God. The whole power in the universe is with you. You have the whole power in the universe. Your intentions and your dispositions can never be stopped. That alone tells you, can you stop me from thinking what I'm thinking? Obviously, you can't stop me. If you can't stop me from thinking what I'm thinking, so what impact do you think you can create on me? Ask yourself a question. If your intentions and dispositions are not controlled by any man, what does that mean? That means you are God. That means you have enormous power. I cannot control what you're thinking. So how do you think somebody elsewhere is ruling over you if he doesn't control what you're thinking? You can't control what I'm thinking. That shows how the power I possess. I can't control what you're thinking. That shows the power you possess. Because the thinking is the main thing. It's not what you're doing. No. It is your thinking that matters. It's your thinking that makes you small. It's your thinking that makes your mind big. So don't have small mind. You stay in your house and you think somebody is richer than you. You stay in the house, you think that somebody can feed you. You stay in your house, you think that somebody is against you. Even though the body doesn't know you, it doesn't remember you, it has never for once met you. and you believe that what that person is saying or doing is affecting you. You might as well believe that an unborn child is affecting you. Just as we are in Africa believe that the ghost is controlling us. We believe in the ghost. Oh, my father has died, his spirit will come and pursue me. What a stupid act. What a stupid thinking. Yeah, a dead spirit that does not exist is controlling you. And because of that, you leave a particular place for that place, and for ages, nobody goes in there. You think, oh, the spirit is going to come. Where is the spirit? Does spirit live on earth? The spirit do not live here. Because God commanded no spirit should come here. So the issue of saying, oh, my father's spirit is all over the place, you are lying to yourself. And that's why Africa hasn't developed. It's because of our thinking. We always think that the spirit is coming. You always think that somebody's doing it. That's why I'm telling you, it's not what you're doing. You can have education, you can have the home money, steal the home money, but your thinking will finish that education, finish that money, and then you'll still be poor. So it's the thinking of a man that counts, not education, not qualification. It's the thinking that makes you have a small mind. God has given you to himself. You are thinking that you are not God makes you small. Not that you are small. A seed does not think itself small. That's why it grows and have billions of fruits on it. St. Paul has told you that God has given you abundantly in a way you cannot imagine, beyond your imagination, above and every other thing you cannot imagine. We are not what we are by what we do. We are what we are by our thinking. It's the thinking that matters. If you like, read the whole books. If you like, get the whole professorship. If you like, put your name, professor this, professor that. What keeps you is your thinking. What makes you small is your thinking. So it is your thinking that renders you useless. It's your thinking that makes you small. So we have a golden opportunity this time to be great. God has made you God. God has made you, given you abundantly. There's a quotation here. It's saying that Paul said that you can do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond what you can imagine according to the power that worketh in you. This is who you are, because you are what you are by your own thinking. If you think you're a slave, you're a slave. If you think you're poor, you're poor. For goodness sake, nobody's poor. For goodness sake, nobody's slaves. For goodness sake, nobody's black, nobody's white. It is our thinking. So change your thinking. That's why God said repent. Repent means change your thinking. It's not even what you're doing that matters. It's what you stay in your bed and what you're thinking in your bed. When you lie down on the bed, what you're thinking. God is more interested in what you're thinking. What makes us evil is our thinking. Because we are not evil. We are God. We are children of God. Thank you.